Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One, and I am back with another video. Okay, guys, I'm gonna give you my impressions, my final thoughts, and my review on Michel'le's Lifetime movie event, Surviving Compton, and the motion picture flick that was going down this summer, straight out of Compton. I'm going to give you guys my opinion on both of these movies. Now, back in that era, I was a young buck. I witnessed this, and I've seen this, and I heard this through my own eyes and ears, okay? So, me watching both of these movies, I really didn't learn anything new because I knew all of this happened, okay? Now, when you're doing a documentary, it's supposed to be based on current events, the truth. But the truth is not very entertaining, okay? The truth can be real. The truth can be authentic. The truth can be cold. But it is not entertaining. It's vanilla. So you have to stretch the truth just a little bit and tell a little white lie here or there to make it entertaining. Because if it's not entertaining, you're not going to get butts in the seats. If it's not entertaining, you're not going to sell tickets, all right? That's the bottom line. Now, Michel'le Surviving Compton, when the events that happened in her version of the truth, some of those things were true and some of them things were just totally false. They never happened. They never existed. Okay? Let's talk about her relationship with Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre and Michel'le. Dr. Dre was very abusive to Michel'le. And, Dr. Dre had a temper, all right? And back in that time, back in that era, sexual assault or sexual battery, it wasn't as serious and no one really fully addressed it back in that era like they are now. The police, if the police were called upon your house based on your skin color or based on your income, whichever comes first, okay? Cops really didn't treat it as a crime back then. Back then, cops treated it as two people arguing, all right? So sexual assault and sexual battery wasn't enforced properly back in that era like it is now, okay? Now, she had an incident in the movie where there was an incident with Tupac and her where she had a crush on Tupac, okay? I think that was more about Michel'le versus Tupac, all right? And then she was recanting a story that there was in the studio. Tupac was in the studio, and Suge Knight pretty much told Tupac to change a verse here and there and say it like this instead of saying it like that. And it led to Suge Knight and Tupac arguing, and then ultimately Tupac just bowed to it and just changed the lyrics. Now, if anyone's a true hip hop historian, they know that this event never happened. It never took place. Tupac was the type of individual, he was very stubborn, okay? If Tupac said the sky was purple, he would argue to you night and day until ultimately you had to agree to disagree or just honestly say, yo, Tupac, the sky is fucking purple, okay? That's the type of individual Tupac is. Now, there are several stories and several occasions where Tupac and Suge Knight will get into disagreements, get into discussions on money issues, on how Suge Knight is treating his crew and Tupac's boys. There was one incident where Suge Knight didn't want to split the bill on flying his boys to Las Vegas, and Tupac said, "Yo, if they don't fly, I don't fly." Ultimately, Suge Knight had to go ahead and split that and pay that bill. Okay, Tupac is very emotional and very stubborn, okay? So that event in itself, I knew that was a bunch of BS. Now, Straight Outta Compton, when you're talking about that film, what led to the downfall of Ruthless Records and NWA was simple, okay? Eazy-E and Jerry Wright, they never paid their artists who were signed to Ruthless Records. And they gave them this contract, this concrete type of contract deal where it was hard for them to maneuver and get out of. Now, Ice Cube did manage to get out of that contract, but in order for him to get out of that contract, he had to get medieval, okay? And there was a report where he went to Ruthless Records studio with a baseball bat, and ultimately they had to release him out of the contract. It was Ice Cube and a few of his boys, and that's the reason why Ice Cube left NWA, all right? And then ultimately the rest of the people left NWA as well. Now, if you're a true hip-hop historian, you would know this, that if Jerry Heller and Eazy-E would have paid those artists right, okay, NWA would have gone on to being one of the best musical acts and bands of all time. They would have been up there with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, okay? Now, it's a shame that they only put out 2 albums, okay? Which in actuality, one of them was an EP. It wasn't even a full album, all right? But it's a shame it went down like that, all right? But when you're talking about these 2 movies, there are like a lot of events that they're showing in these 2 movies that were not true. Now, Michel'le, she may have that squeaky voice like, "This is my story. My name is Michel'le, and I'm going to tell you how I survived Compton." Michel'le was very talented. She had, her voice, her singing voice didn't match her speaking voice, okay? And if you listen to her album, I think her album was titled Something in My Heart by Michel'le. That was one of, if not one of the best albums that Ruthless Records released, other than NWA and JJ Fad. Okay, that was a standout album. Now, that album didn't do the numbers. It didn't push the album sales like NWA and JJ Fad. Now, JJ Fad had that Supersonic song. That was their hook song, okay? And NWA, they revolutionized gangster rap, okay? That was their niche, all right? But Michel'le's album, it wasn't critically acclaimed like those other 2 previous albums I mentioned, okay? But overall, both of these movies had huge, unbelievable plots in the story, and they were just totally unbelievable. When you're talking about Michel'le's encounters with Tupac, portraying Tupac as a weak individual, okay? And both of these movies really didn't credit who really formed NWA, okay? It didn't credit, even though Michel'le did show him some love, and I forgot the guy's name. He was in a group with Dr. Dre, all right? And it was called the World Class Wrecking Crew, all right? Without him pushing Dre, introducing Dre to Eazy-E, NWA would have never happened, okay? So, even though Michel'le did show him a little love in her movie, Straight Outta Compton, they never even mentioned it, all right? Now, when the final days, quote unquote, if you want to say that, of Ruthless Records, when everyone left, okay, It was mainly just Eazy-E and Bone Thugs and Harmony. I mean, and to this point, and to be fair, if Eazy never signed Bone Thugs and Harmony, Ruthless Records would have died off a lot sooner. Now, there were stories out there that, Death Row's storyline kind of, intertwined with Ruthless Records. But it's not as big and it's not as major as they portraying it in Straight Outta Compton or Surviving Compton. Yes, Suge Knight had an affection towards Michel'le, okay? Because Dre would go out and he would cheat on her, okay? And a lot of people don't know this, that to be honest with you, Dr. Dre he already had a girlfriend, and it was believed that they were already married, and he had Michel'le. Michel'le was his side chick, all right? And that's how Dr. Dre pretty much treated. Now, it was at one point of time where Dr. Dre was falling in love with Michel'le, but over the course of time, he got tired of it. And he treated Michel'le like a car. Now, Suge Knight knew this, all right? And Suge Knight even messed around with Michel'le, all right? But they was not like this power couple or quote-unquote couple. Basically, she was just a side chick that moved from another big entrepreneur and became his side chick, all right? Now, there was a storyline in Surviving Compton where Michel'le says that Suge Knight was very abusive to her, all right? And we heard like a lot of accusations that, hey, Suge Knight is beating up on Michel'le. But it was really not necessarily confirmed, because the reason why Michel'le really never pushed it, and the reason why Michel'le never pushed it is because Suge Knight, well, he was providing for her, all right? She didn't have to worry about bills. She didn't have to, I mean, at this point in time, Michel'le was not really hardcore in the music business. I mean, she only had one album. She did a couple of guest appearances, a couple of vocal tracks on the Chronic, Dr. Dre's album, when he got signed to Death Row. But that's pretty much it, all right? So basically, she was just a side chick to Suge Knight, all right? So both of these movies are very entertaining. You know, I'm not going to lie about it. I ain't going to make no crumbs about it. I hope these movies get the props they deserve. I hope they get nominated for an Academy Award. I know Straight Outta Compton should definitely be nominated for an Oscar. They're very good films, entertaining films, but you can't come out of the movie theater saying, I know more about NWA, Michel'le, West Coast, gangster rap, because they didn't fully tell the whole story. And two, they had to add scenes in there that those events never even happened to make it entertaining. Now, I'm pretty sure when Tupac's movie come out, All Eyes on Me, they're going to do the same song and dance, the same concept. They're going to intertwine Tupac's story with Ruthless storyline, as well as Death Row. Well, of course, because he was on Death Row. But in all actuality, Tupac had nothing to do with Ruthless Records, all right? But it is what it is. Guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don 1, and I am out. Deuces. I am so sorry that this video got so fucking long.